Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Govberg, and thanks for logging on. Today we are looking at the Grand Seiko Spring Drive Diver SBGA029. You can see the stainless steel spring drive dive watch on our website, govbergwatches.com. And if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our app, Govberg On Time, for the latest news, views, reviews, and multimedia of luxury watches. Now, the spring drive diver on my wrist, 16 centimeters, 6 1/3 inches in circumference, has a meaty, modern, robust look and feel. At over 200 grams, this is nearly half a pound of watch. It looks the part and it feels it. It's not overwhelming, although it is 44 millimeters across the round of the case, not counting crown guard and crown, and it's actually dramatically pared down compared to the girth of many oversized watches, being only 14 millimeters thick with a cupped back. It nestles down on the wrist, and there is actually a little bit of slope to the bezel that will allow a sport jacket, longer, lighter, perhaps not as tight sleeve or a blazer sleeve or cuff, to slide over this watch. It's not necessarily a dress watch, but it's also not going to be a hang-up for your longer sleeves. Now, the watch does feature a robust, but again, not overwhelming lug to lug span. From the outermost outcropping of the solid end link of the bracelet on one side to its opposite number on the other side, you're looking at 53 millimeters of span, which is about par for a watch of this size, perhaps even a little bit less. So the watch isn't a bully for a smaller wrist like mine. Now, it does feature a little bit of camber to it. You can see the profile of the lugs. They actually draw the belt line of the watch from side to side down and around the wrist, so this one will work with you a bit around the natural curvature of the wrist, and the fit is tremendous. First of all, the bracelet is very robust, beautifully finished, alternately brushed and polished. It has a little bit of a jewelry-like twinkle to it thanks to the contrast, and the clasp is an event in and of itself. Now, Grand Seiko is a name of reference in luxury horology, but we rarely see them in the United States, but they feature, if anything, over-engineered componentry, and this clasp definitely qualifies. A clamshell? Yes. Twin triggers? Absolutely. Why not? And for good measure, there's an internal sliding adjustment system that can work as a micro adjust or a diving suit extension, and it's as easy as simply pulling a tab and drawing out as much or as little in increments as you like. Again, this can do the one big up and over, a dive suit, or it can be used for micro adjustments on the fly if you want to adjust the fit of your watch without resort to jeweler's tools or specialists. Beautifully built. Like everything else on this watch, it just feels the business. Incredibly heavy, tough, over-engineered. That's the term that keeps coming to mind. And it is the classical image of a dive watch here, make no mistake. Now, this is an ISO 6425 dive watch in every respect. It's also an ISO 764 anti-magnetic watch, which is quite impressive, and we'll get into that in a moment when we discuss the spring drive. But consider the aesthetic. No nonsense, with just a few quirks to enliven the watch and to make it personal and unique to Seiko. You can see that the slope down from the stainless steel hard enamel-coated bezel is a broad and deep flange. That flange, acting as a rehaut, provides a visual transition to the dial itself, and the dial, which is a sort of matte black with applied and highly loomed indices, has a few distinctive marks that you don't see conventionally in the dive class. For one, we have a broad arrow minutes hand, yes, but then a cathedral hour hand, as well as an off-centered power reserve. It's a nice feature to have, and it is nice to know if your dive watch is suitably charged up before you take the plunge. Now, it's a 72-hour or 3-day power reserve. It is an automatic winding reference, and it does have Seiko's spring drive system, which is unique in that it features a completely smooth, undetented sweep of the hand at center. It's not an El Primero at 10 beats per second. It's not even something like Breguet's experimentation with ultra-high rate. This is truly a continuous sweep. There's no stop, there's no start. It's different than anything you'll see on a Swiss lever watch. And the reason for that is it's effectively a hybrid of a mechanical and a quartz watch. Exactly what the name implies, this 200-meter water-resistant watch features a spring alternately wound or charged by the automatic rotor inside, and the spring transfers its mechanical energy to an induced current system that effectively generates feedback activating a quartz oscillator that regulates a continuously and smoothly turning regulation wheel. Now that regulation wheel, which looks a little bit like the balance in a conventional watch, is regulated by the feedback loop between the quartz oscillator and the induced current produced by the spring energy itself via the wheel. If it sounds a little complex, it's actually not that bad. The great challenge of this system, which took from the 1970s until effectively the 2000s to develop, isn't so much the concept, but the execution. But the execution is magnificent. Now, when you pull the crown, you will hack the movement, you will stop the seconds hand. With conventional stop seconds action, you can synchronize it to a dive timer or a known accurate reference clock, and it does have a quick set system. But the real genius of this system is that without any batteries, without any solar charging, using only mechanical energy to actuate the movement, it nevertheless achieves plus or minus 15 seconds accuracy per month. That's far in excess of any automatic or hand-wound conventional Swiss lever chronometer. This movement really does set the standard in terms of movements that are powered by kinetic energy on the wrist or mechanical energy of a spring. It's an exceptional and quite unique system, and just to hammer home how unique and special it is, Piaget, one of the houses of Swiss high horology, recently offered its own take on the spring drive concept. Yeah, that watch will cost you the better part of $100,000. Just highlighting how special the spring drive system really is. And you can have the Seiko Spring Drive SBGA029 diver for a fraction of that price on our website, Govberg Watches.